What is a promise ring? A promise ring is a ring given as a symbol. It is often given as a gift before an engagement to show that the person wearing it is ready to make a commitment. Promise rings are also common among young couples as a symbol of their commitment to each other. The rings can be made from any type of metal, but are often gold or silver. They are usually small and simple in design. What do promise rings represent? A promise ring is given as a symbol of a couple's commitment to each other. The ring can represent many things, such as promises of fidelity, abstinence from sex, or never forgetting about someone. Generally, the person who receives the promise ring is seen as being very important to the giver. Who gives promise rings? Traditionally, promise rings are often given by a boyfriend to his girlfriend. The ring is meant to signify the couple's commitment to one another and their promise to stay together forever. However, these days, promise rings can be given by any friend or family member as a symbol of love and friendship. How do I choose a promise ring? When it comes to promise rings, there are no hard and fast rules, other than the promise that the ring represents. But if you're looking for some guidance on how to choose a promise ring for your loved one, read on. First of all, think about what the ring will signify. A promise ring can represent a commitment to any number of things: monogamy, friendship, exclusivity, or simply that the relationship is important to you. Once you've decided what the ring will symbolize, think about what style would be appropriate. If your loved one is into vintage styles, consider opting for something with an antique look. If they prefer more contemporary designs, there are plenty of modern-style rings to pick from as well. And don't forget about the material. Gold, silver, and platinum are all popular choices for promise rings. How and where do you give a promise ring? When it comes to giving a promise ring, there is no set rule on when or how to do it. It could be given at a romantic dinner or during a special moment. The only thing you need to remember is that it should be a special moment to mark your loving relationship. When to give a promise ring? An evening weekend in a romantic location is ideal. Also, if you want to create a special moment, it is a great idea to give promise rings on your birthday or anniversary. What should you do if you receive a promise ring? When you receive a promise ring, it is important to understand what the ring means and what is expected of you. A promise ring signifies that the person wearing it has made a promise to themselves and to the person who gave them the ring. It may mean that the wearer has decided to abstain from sex until they are married, or that they have made a promise to another person to be monogamous. If you are given a promise ring, it is important to talk with the person who gave it to you about what the ring means and what your obligation is. If you are not ready or willing to make the commitment that is symbolized by the ring, it is best to return it to the giver. A promise ring should not be taken lightly, it is a symbol of serious responsibility. How do I wear a promise ring? A promise ring can be worn on either hand. Some people choose to wear their promise rings on the left hand, while others prefer the right hand. It's really up to you and what feels comfortable for you. What is there to do with the ring if the promise is broken? Promise rings symbolize an agreement between two people. They can be used to represent anything from a promise to be monogamous to a pledge to stay friends after a breakup. If the ring is given as a symbol of love and loyalty and the relationship ends, it can be quite painful for both parties. If you have been given a promise ring and the relationship ends, there are a few things you can do. Talk to your partner about what the ring means to you and why it is important. This could help lessen the pain if the breakup is amicable. You can keep the ring as a reminder of the good times you had together. It doesn't mean that you have to forget what happened, but it can be a nice way to remember your time together fondly. Tips for choosing the right promise ring. When it comes to rings, there's no question that promise rings hold a special place in people's hearts. After all, they symbolize the pledge two people make to each other. But when it comes time to choose a promise ring for your loved one, what do you need to know? Here are a few tips to help you out. 1. Know your loved one's style. This is probably the most significant thing to consider when picking a promise ring. If your loved one prefers delicate jewelry, then you'll want to choose something more understated than if they prefer big and bold pieces. 2. Consider the type of commitment you're making. Are you promising monogamy? Eternal love? If the ring is meant to symbolize your commitment, make sure it reflects that accurately. 3. Think about the cost. When it comes to giving a promise ring, the cost is definitely something to consider. After all, you want your promise ring to be special and represent the depth of your commitment. But don't let that stop you from finding the perfect ring. There are many affordable options out there, and if you're crafty, you can even make your own. The most important thing is to pick a ring that feels right for both you and your partner. It doesn't have to be flashy or expensive. In fact, simple rings can often be more meaningful. Just take your time and find the perfect option for you. Types of promise rings. When it comes to promise rings, there are many types and styles that you can choose from. Here are a few of the most popular types of promise rings. The first type of promise ring is called a purity ring. A purity ring is a type of ring that is given to a person when they make a promise to stay pure until marriage. These rings often have a symbol on them that represents virginity or purity. The second type of promise ring is called a pre-engagement ring. An engagement ring is a type of ring that is given to someone when they are engaged to be married. This type of ring often has a diamond or other gemstone on it, and it is usually worn on the left-hand ring finger. The third type of promise ring is called a friendship ring. A friendship ring is a type of ring that is given to someone who has been a very good friend to you. This type of ring often has a symbol on it or a word that represents friendship. Promise rings are a beautiful way to symbolize your love and devotion. Promise rings are a type of ring that is given as a symbol of love and commitment. When most people think of a promise ring, they think of a young couple in love. A promise ring is given as a symbol of a commitment to remain together and eventually get married. However, promise rings can mean different things to different people. Some people may give a promise ring as a symbol of their love and loyalty to each other, while others may give one as a symbol of friendship.